important component of a cell, that is cytoplasm. So cyto means cell and plasm means a fluid. So the fluid which is present inside the cell. So fluid inside the cell enclosed by the plasma membrane is called cytoplasm. So plasma membrane is nothing but the cell membrane. So that fluid is called cytoplasm. So this cytoplasm's composition is almost 80% water. 80% of it is water. And since it has more water, so obviously its viscosity is less. It is something like, for example, what is viscosity? Example, just think of honey. So if you take honey and if you take water, now which is more sticky? So honey appears more sticky. So this stickiness is a measure of viscosity. So the more sticky the fluid is, the more viscous it is. Similarly, the less sticky the fluid is, the less viscous it is. So honey is very viscous when compared to that of water. So cytoplasm is less viscous because it has more water. So presence of more water makes it less viscous. It is also termed as cystosol. So that is just another name for cytoplasm, because it is like cyto solution. So that's how it is, cytosol. So here if you look at the animal cell, so this entire fluid which is present inside the cell is cytoplasm, and in this cytoplasm are present all the different cell organelles. It is something like a fluid is present and on that different other organisms are floating. So that's how it is. Many cell organelles are embedded in the cytoplasm. So organelles are like fixed in the cytoplasm at specific locations. So let us quickly look at the significance of cytoplasm. It contains dissolved nutrients. So whatever nutrients is needed by the cell for its survival, they are all present in dissolved form in the cytoplasm, because cytoplasm is available to all the cell organelles. So they can utilize the nutrients. It dissolves waste products. Now, it not only provides the useful substances to the cell components, it also extracts out, or it takes out all the waste products from the cell. So these waste products are also taken out of the cell in the dissolved form in cytoplasm. Organelles embedded in cytoplasm performs a specific function without which the cell cannot function as a whole. Now each of these cell organelles which you see are present here, they all play a very vital role. Some of them provides energy to the cell. Some of them help in storage of food material. Some of them helps in packaging of food material. So each of them have a different purpose, but all of them are very, very important. Even without any one of them, the cell will not be able to survive. And these organelles are supported by the cytoplasm. Controls the shape of the cell to an extent, because it is the fluid which is present throughout inside. So if the amount of the fluid changes, then the shape of the cell might also get varied. So that means to some extent it controls the shape of the cell. Helps in cellular respiration. So there are a couple of non-soluble molecules which are present and which keeps floating in the cytoplasm. So some small molecules are present. So these molecules help in the process of cellular respiration. What is cellular respiration? Respiration is that process in which food is oxidized to produce energy. Because all of us eat food. Why do we eat food? Because our body needs energy. So why our body needs energy? To perform various activities. Now these activities at the base level is performed by each and every cell of our body. So that means each cell inside our body, they are doing some work. So that means they need some energy. So when we eat food, the food gets digested and then it is absorbed by different cells of the body. So each cell, they absorb the food and then they generate energy out of that food. So this process is called cellular respiration, where food, that is glucose, is oxidized, that is glucose in presence of oxygen, it is converted into a lot of energy, and this energy is then utilized by the cell for performing various activities. So that is how cytoplasm helps in cellular respiration, because these molecules which help in the process of cellular respiration, they are also present in the cytoplasm. Now, when we are talking about cytoplasm, it is also very important to clarify about protoplasm, because many a times people get confused. They think that cytoplasm and protoplasm, they mean the same thing, but that is not the case. So protoplasm is an even broader term. So protoplasm is the living substance of a cell. So cytoplasm is just the fluid which is present inside the cell, but protoplasm is cytoplasm plus nucleus. So cytoplasm along with nucleus, they form protoplasm. So that means everything that is present inside the cell is protoplasm. So that is why it is called the living substance of a cell is protoplasm. The various cell organelles, that is the components which are embedded in the cytoplasm. So cell organelles there are several cell organelles which are suspended in cytoplasm. Now some of these important cell organelles, we will look at them here. So each organelle is surrounded by its individual membrane. Now this is true only in case of eukaryotes, because you remember I said that in eukaryotes every cell organelle is surrounded by its own membrane, and that is why we can distinctly see each organelle. But in case of prokaryotes, that is not the case. All the organelles which are present in a prokaryotic cell, they are all scattered within the cell. In fact, many of the cell organelles which are present in eukaryotes, they are not present at all in prokaryotes. So if you look at this cell, so here you can see that this is the nucleus which is surrounded by the nuclear membrane. So this is the nuclear membrane. Other than this also, here you see this is one organelle, again this is another cell organelle, this is another cell organelle, and all of these are very distinctly visible. Why? Because each of these is surrounded by a specific membrane. So that is how it is in case of eukaryotes. So whether it is a plant cell or an animal cell, everywhere you can see distinctly each cell organelle. Now what are the cell organelles which are present inside a cell? The important cell organelles are endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, vacuoles. So these are the important cell organelles. So here we will not get into the detail of each of these cell organelles, but yes, at least I will introduce you to the cell organelles, that what are each of these and what are their functions. But structure wise and the detailed structure of each of these, that we will take up in our higher classes. Reticulum. So what is endoplasmic reticulum? So what does this term means? Endoplasmic reticulum. Endo means inside. Plasmic is related to the cytoplasm. Plasmic is related to the cytoplasm. And reticulum means network. So basically it is a network of something which is present inside the cytoplasm. So let's see, what is this? It is a complex network of membrane tubules which are present inside the cytoplasm. So you have some tube-like structures which are surrounded by membranes. Now every cell organelle is going to be membrane bound in eukaryotes. So these are tubular or round or oblong structures. So the shape is not very specific. Mostly they are tubular in shape and they are very specifically bound by a membrane. And they do not exist singly. A network of such tubule-like structures exist together, and this entire network is called endoplasmic reticulum. This structure is very, very well developed in higher animals. Sometimes the embryo cells or the eggs might lack them. So they are generally present in the mature animals, cells of mature animals, and they are located around the nucleus. Now look-wise, they look different in different cells depending on their function. So they do not have a specific shape and size, but yes, in different cells they look little different. They are of two types, rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So let us see how they look. So this is how the structure of endoplasmic reticulum look like. So here you see some leaf-like structures, that's how it might look to you in this picture. But actually if you see, these are tube-like structure. You can consider this as one tube, right? A cylindrical structure. Again you can consider this as one tube. Again, you can consider this as one tube. So it is like several tube-like structures which are all connected to each other. So a network is being formed by such tube-like structures. So this network is endoplasmic reticulum. Now these are called rough endoplasmic reticulum and these are called smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So why are they called rough and why are they called smooth? That's because if you look at the rough endoplasmic reticulum, you see a lot of dots over it. So why do you say that it is a smooth surface and it is a rough surface? So smooth surface is not going to have any sort of intervention. There is not going to be any sort of interference on a smooth surface, but on a rough surface you have a lot of hindrance, you have lots of ups and downs. So here also on the rough endoplasmic reticulum you have these structures called ribosomes. So you see the blue dots which you see, the bigger ones, they are ribosomes. So on the rough endoplasmic reticulum you have the ribosomes. Then what do these ribosomes do? Ribosomes are the site for protein synthesis. So proteins get synthesized on the ribosomes. So these ribosomes are present on the endoplasmic reticulum. So that type of endoplasmic reticulum is called rough endoplasmic reticulum. But the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they do not have ribosomes. So proteins are present here. The smaller dots which are green in color, they represent proteins. So proteins are present in both of them because these proteins have been synthesized and they need to be transported. So these proteins are there, but the ribosomes are not there. So that is why it has a continuous surface and it has a smooth surface. But here in this case, the surface is granular. So the surface is granular due to the presence of granules of ribosomes. Right? So that is your rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So let us see where do we see endoplasmic reticulum in animal cells. So this is an animal cell. Where do you see the endoplasmic reticulum? Here. So this is your rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this is your rough endoplasmic reticulum. So the yellow colored structure which you see here, which have a lot of dots over it. So these dots are nothing but the ribosomes. Due to the presence of ribosome, the surface is rough and it is rough endoplasmic reticulum. Whereas these red colored structure, these are also tubule-like structures. You can see the red structures, they are the tubule-like structures, but they are smooth. They do not have the dots on their surface. So they are the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. And you see it is located quite near to the nucleus because this structure, the central structure is the nucleus. So surrounding the nucleus is located the endoplasmic reticulum. So where do we see endoplasmic reticulum in plant cells? So this is a plant cell. So here also you can see the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So here you have the network of tube-like structures without dots, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and with dots is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So here this is rough endoplasmic reticulum where you have these dots. So that is so here the rough endoplasmic reticulum is the yellowish structure. So this location is such that inside you have the nucleus, just outside the nucleus, immediately after the nucleus, you have the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So basically the rough endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the nuclear membrane. So it is something like this. You have your nucleus here. Let us suppose this is nucleus. So that means this boundary is the nuclear membrane. So just in continuation with the nuclear membrane, you have the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And then the rough endoplasmic reticulum is also continuous with the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So you can say that rough endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with the nuclear membrane on one side and it is continuous with the SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, on the other side. So here you can see this is smooth endoplasmic reticulum and this is your nucleus, and in between you have the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So let us look at the importance of endoplasmic reticulum. Why is it important? What does it do? So it helps in the manufacture of proteins and lipids. So proteins and lipids get manufactured here are used in building the plasma membrane, in enzymes and hormones. Like we saw the plasma membrane components. The plasma membrane is made up of two layers of lipids, and proteins are embedded in the layer of lipids. In fact, the nuclear membrane is also made up of lipids and proteins. So from where do we get those lipids and proteins? So somebody needs to produce them. So the production of proteins and lipids are taken care by the endoplasmic reticulum. Now these proteins and lipids can also act as enzymes, they can also act as hormones, and these hormones and enzymes, they play a very important role inside our body. So if you talk about hormones, these hormones, they play extremely important roles. For example, if you see how our brain controls all other parts of our body, how? By secretion of hormones. So hormones can actually control a lot of things, a lot of activities which take place inside our body. So this synthesis of such basic molecules like proteins and lipids are taken care by the endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum acts as a channel to transport materials to different parts of the cell. Now, as you saw in the picture, that these endoplasmic reticulum, so see here, this is the nucleus. Immediately after the nucleus, we have the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So this rough endoplasmic reticulum with dots over it. So it is present in between the nuclear membrane and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this picture gives a clearer view that rough endoplasmic reticulum is located between the nuclear membrane and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this endoplasmic reticulum will help in transporting substances. So whatever substances will come out of the nucleus through the nuclear pores, that will be taken up by the rough endoplasmic reticulum, then it will send it to smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and then this will send it to different parts of the body. So that's how it helps in transportation of materials to different parts of the cell. It also helps to detoxify poisons and drugs. So this detoxification is a very, very important process. Now when I talk about detoxification, let me give you an example. Now you would have often heard that people advise everyone not to consume alcohol. Why? Because they say that if somebody drinks too much or if somebody consumes too much of alcohol, it might damage his liver. So how the liver gets affected due to alcohol intake? Now, why only the liver gets impacted and not other organs? That's because whenever alcohol is taken inside our body, a lot of poisonous materials, a lot of toxic materials are introduced inside the body. So somebody has to do some detoxification. Otherwise, like if you consume poison, what will happen? If somebody consumes poison, that person is going to die immediately. Right? Because a poisonous substance is entering inside your body. So even alcohol contains a lot of poisonous substances. But it doesn't happen that somebody has consumed alcohol and immediately he died. That doesn't happen. Why? Because liver takes up the process of detoxification. So whenever there is an alcohol intake, the liver does the job of detoxification. So it tries to detoxify the body. It tries to reduce the effects of the toxic substances. In order to help the liver, which cells help the liver? So the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So basically in this detoxification, important role is played by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So what does it do is, it increases its surface area to increase the detoxification process so that the detoxification can happen faster. And once the detoxification is done, then it returns back to its normal size. That's why when somebody is consuming alcohol, then immediately there is a lot of toxic substances inside the body. So that time the liver is doing detoxification. Also the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it will increase its size, surface area, and it will do detoxification. Now once the detoxification is done, it will come back to its normal size. Now sometimes if the intake of alcohol is too high, or if the frequency at which alcohol is taken in, that is too high, if somebody is consuming bottles after bottles of alcohol, then what happens? The smooth endoplasmic reticulum get damaged because it goes out of its capacity to detoxify the body. Now, when the smooth endoplasmic reticulum gets damaged, so you are actually losing out somebody who is helping in the process of detoxification. So when the person takes alcohol, even after that limit, then there is nobody to detoxify, because the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is damaged, your liver is also damaged, so there is nobody to detoxify your body. So as a result, the person can even die. So too much intake of alcohol, excessive intake of alcohol can lead to death. So it can cause severe health problems. So that is why it is always advised not to take in alcohol. So this is another important role of endoplasmic reticulum.